Imagine stepping into a room, maybe your bare feet sinking into the plush, intricate fibers of a rug. Not just, any old rug, but one so rich in design, so vibrant in color that you can almost feel the whispers of ancient looms. And nomadic journeys woven right into every single thread. The stories, the history, the sheer artistry held within that piece. It's not just something you feel, it's almost like an invitation, right, to a different time and place. Welcome to The Deep Dive. This is the show where we take a carefully curated stack of sources, articles, research, our own notes, and we really distill them. We try to get down to the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. We're here to give you that shortcut to being truly well-informed, hopefully packed with surprising facts, and, just enough fun to keep you absolutely hooked. Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating journey. We're going into the world of Persian and Oriental carpets, and specifically, we're zooming right in on a truly unique and captivating category, Afshar rugs. Our insights for this exploration, they come directly from a renowned carpet business, a family just deeply embedded in this craft.
And that's alongside some really detailed accounts of Afshar rug artistry itself. So our mission today is to uncover what makes these rugs tick. Why aren't they just decorative items you chuck on your floor? Why are they maybe profound pieces of living history, vibrant culture, and surprisingly, maybe even shrewd potential investments? Okay, let's unpack this a bit. When you think of a rug, your mind probably jumps to its function, right? Something to cover a cold floor, maybe add a splash of color. But what if it was so much more? What if that woven rectangle was actually like a map of ancient migrations, a whisper of tribal resilience across centuries? Or even, a tangible piece of art that gains value over time, holding stories right there in its very fibers.
It is fascinating, isn't it, how seemingly simple objects, like a hand-knotted rug, can just encapsulate centuries of intricate history. Not just history, but a complex interplay of diverse cultures and incredibly sophisticated craftsmanship. We're going to explore how these threads literally connect to a much bigger picture, revealing layers of meaning that go far, far beyond mere aesthetics or decoration. It's really about seeing the object not just for what it is, but for the entire narrative it carries. A narrative of human ingenuity and enduring tradition. It's like transforming a floor covering into a cultural document.
Exactly. And what better way to begin our journey into this incredibly rich woven world than by grounding ourselves? Let's look at a real-world example of tradition and expertise. Our sources introduce us to Boteh's Oriental carpets. They're nestled in the beautiful city of Victoria, British Columbia, up in Canada. Now, this isn't just a shop you walk into. It's more like a tangible entry point, a welcoming gateway into the magnificent world of these hand-knotted treasures. It's where this abstract concept of a valuable historical rug becomes something you can literally touch, feel, and truly experience. And you get guided by some really deep knowledge.
Precisely. This business isn't simply a storefront. It represents a profound generational legacy of expertise. You can feel it. The foundation of this family enterprise rests firmly on the shoulders of Dr. Hushang Rizwani. Now, he has successfully built an honorable reputation in the carpet business over the past 35 years, originally in Graz, Austria. Think about what that kind of longevity means. Decades of discerning quality, building trust with weavers, collectors, and cultivating this deep inherited understanding of the craft. You just can't get that overnight from a book, It's knowledge that's passed down, refined, lived. This isn't just a job for them. It feels more like a calling, a tradition.
Absolutely. And that legacy really continues with his son, Babak Rizwani. He's the owner and operator of the Victoria showroom, which, interestingly, opened its doors way back in August of 1994. So quite established now. The accounts we've explored tell us that Babak has literally been around the carpet business his entire life. Just pause for a moment and think about what that means. Someone who lives and breathes this world. Growing up, he wouldn't just see rugs. He'd be immersed in their stories, learn to feel their textures, discern the wool quality, recognize the nuance of different dyes, understand the provenance of each piece. It's instinctual. So this lifelong immersion has granted him, as our sources say, a vast knowledge of most carpets from around the world, but with a special focus on Persia. He's not just a salesperson. He's more like a passionate scholar, really dedicated to studying Oriental carpets, always eager to share insights.
And that level of dedication, that inherited wisdom, it directly benefits the customer in really invaluable ways. It's not merely about the transaction, selling a rug. It's about sharing a comprehensive understanding of its historical significance, delving into the intricate hand-knotting techniques used, explaining its potential investment value, which is quite interesting, and assessing its overall quality. This kind of deep dive into a family business like Babak's really shows how genuine expertise transforms a purchase. It becomes an educational experience. You're not just getting a decorative decorative item. You're investing in a piece of art that comes with its own rich story, whispered through its threads, and the assurance of informed guidance.
Yeah, and this business goes far beyond just that initial sale, which I think is a powerful testament to their commitment. Commitment to these magnificent pieces and, importantly, to their customers. Our sources detail a really wide array of comprehensive services offered by Babak's Oriental Carpets. It's not just a retail space. It truly functions as a comprehensive hub for all things carpet care and knowledge. Almost like a museum that offers personal consultations. They handle practical things like worldwide shipping, which means these precious pieces can find homes anywhere, right, across the globe. They also provide essential maintenance, professional carpet repair, and cleaning. That's crucial for longevity and beauty, and therefore value. And crucially, they offer appraisal services. This speaks directly to the investment variable we'll touch on later. You can get a professional assessment of your rug's worth, vital for insurance, resale, or just understanding your asset.
Definitely. And beyond those essential practicalities, they have some truly unique offerings. Things that align perfectly with someone who wants to really understand their purchase thoroughly, like our listener perhaps. They operate a trade-in and purchasing counter. Now, that's not just convenient, it shows real confidence in the enduring value of their carpets. And it fosters a healthy secondary market, too. But what's particularly illuminating for someone wanting to learn are the detailed information sheets provided for all carpets. Imagine that. Being able to take home a comprehensive dossier on your potential purchase, learning about its origins, motifs, construction, all at your own pace. And then there's the option for trials at no obligation. This lets you experience the rug in your own space. See how it works with your light, your furniture, your life, before making that commitment. These services, they actively reduce barriers for the consumer, empowering you with knowledge and confidence before you commit. It's a very transparent approach, builds immense trust, and allows for that crucial aha moment when you truly connect with the piece.
Totally agree. And it's critical to mention that all of this is seamlessly supported by their knowledgeable and professional staff. These individuals act as expert guides, helping you navigate the sometimes complex, nuanced world of Oriental carpets, much like we aim to do for you in this deep dive, right? A business structured like Babak's truly caters to that learner persona, providing structured information, extant guidance from people who've dedicated their lives to this craft, and those invaluable opportunities for genuine discovery through those detailed info sheets or direct chats with staff who know these rugs inside out. It's more than a store. It's like an ecosystem of knowledge and care designed to educate and inspire. So you can clearly see how much rich history and expertise goes into just finding these carpets, bringing them to market, connecting them with people who appreciate their true worth. But what makes Afshar rugs so uniquely special? Why focus on them? Our sources specifically highlight this truly unique and fascinating category, and here's where it gets really interesting, because we're about to delve into the very heart of their identity, a story deeply rooted in movement and resilience.
Right. What's truly fascinating here is that at their very core, Afshar rugs are hand-knotted by the semi-nomadic Turkic Afshar tribe. Now that immediately tells you something profound about their nature. These are not factory-made items, nor are they products of static urban workshops with rigid, preset designs. They are the artistic expression of a people often on the move, literally carrying their traditions, their looms, their accumulated wisdom with them across landscapes. The term semi-nomadic usually implies a seasonal migration, maybe between summer and winter pastures, often with established winter settlements. This lifestyle, just by its nature, demands practicality and ingenuity in their craft.
And this nomadic lifestyle is quite literally woven into their history and geography. It's inseparable. Our research traces their origins back to the vast plains of Central Asia. From there, they embarked on this incredible journey, a westward migration that took them through Iranian Azerbaijan, and then further into the modern-day Azerbaijan Republic, and even parts of eastern Turkey. Just imagine the sheer scale of such a journey, carrying your entire household, your materials, your designs, across vast, diverse landscapes, encountering different cultures along the way. This long, arduous, nomadic background directly influences their weaving traditions, and the very nature of their rugs, fostering adaptability and reflecting their environment.
And this movement wasn't always voluntary, which adds another really poignant layer to their story of resilience. The sources describe a significant historical event during the reign of Shah Tahmasp. He ruled the Safavid Empire from 1524 to 1587. During this period, the Afshar tribe was driven southwards into the zone it now occupies. specifically the provinces of Kerman and Yazd in southeastern Iran, the strategic reason given, in an attempt to diffuse their warlike tendencies. A bit blunt, perhaps, but this historical context provides a compelling narrative for their dispersion and, crucially, the subsequent blending of artistic influences we see so vividly in their rugs. It's really a testament to their enduring spirit and ability to adapt their craft even under duress.
It truly is. And their history isn't just about migration and forced settlement. It's also marked by periods of considerable power and influence. Our sources point specifically to the reign of Nadir Shah in the 18th century, who was himself an Afshar. Quite something. This brief but impactful period shows their historical significance extended far beyond just their weaving traditions. They were a formidable force, capable of shaping empires. And in some subtle way, that strength and enduring spirit are almost captured in the robust, resilient nature of their rugs. They aren't delicate things. They are built to last, mirroring the very character of the tribe, wouldn't you say?
I would. This rich history of migration, forced relocation, and subsequent settlement inevitably led to what our sources call a distinctive aesthetic in their rugs, one that incorporates a multitude of regional influences. It's fascinating. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the history of the Afshar tribe is quite literally woven into their rugs. It's not just a metaphor. Each pattern, each color choice can almost be seen as a chapter in their migratory story, a visual record of their interactions with other cultures and their ingenious adaptation to new environments. It's truly a living cultural document, one that you can touch and interpret.
So when we talk about this blending of influences, what does that actually look like on an Afshar rug? Can you see it? Our sources pinpoint several key regions. You can still discern a clear Azerbaijan and Caucasian influence, which makes perfect sense given their origins and migration paths. You'll see this in the bold, often angular geometric forms, right? But then, because of where they were eventually settled in southeastern Iran, they also absorbed designs from the skilled craftsmen of Kerman and by the neighboring Fars tribe. So it's a real melting pot of artistic traditions, creating something entirely new yet deeply rooted.
That blending is precisely what results in elements of several village and nomadic Persian rug styles, as well as southern Persian design influences, culminating in a truly unique and incredibly diverse artistic tradition. The rugs are not homogeneous at all. They are a rich tapestry of interwoven ideas, a visual record of centuries of movement and cultural exchange. For an expert eye, it's like listening to a piece of music where you can pick out the distinct instruments. You might hear the clear, strong geometric notes of the Caucasian influence, maybe in a sharply defined medallion or repeating field motif. Then, within that same rug, you'll suddenly encounter more delicate, curvilinear, floral patterns, almost a lyrical counterpoint, which are classic Kerman. It's this beautiful, sometimes surprising juxtaposition that makes Afshar so captivating and so rich with meaning.
That's why understanding these rugs goes beyond just looking at a pretty pattern, isn't it? It's like decoding a visual language.
Yeah.
And the signature style that stands out immediately in Afshar rugs is their unmistakable use of bold geometric motifs. This is a true hallmark of their artistry. It makes perfect sense when you consider their nomadic background and deep connection to their environment. Geometric shapes are often simpler to render on the more portable ground looms used by nomadic weavers, translating well to the dynamic, on-the-go lives of these tribes. They're robust, clear, efficient to weave.
And while it's true that complex repeating all-over designs are prevalent, it's important to note that their tribal artistry still shines through. It's not rigidly formal. There's a certain spontaneity, a charming irregularity sometimes, that captures the essence of nomadic creation within these structured geometric forms. This contrast between structured repetition and individual expression makes them particularly compelling. You really see the human hand, the individual weaver in every knot.
And when we dive into the specific motifs, it's like opening a captivating storybook. Each pattern tells a different tale. Our sources detail several distinctive designs, each with its own character and visual language. First, there's the AFSHAR DEHAJ. These rugs are characterized by large geometric Boteh motifs that impressively cover the whole field of the rug. Now, for those unfamiliar, the sources describe Boteh as stylized, leaf-like floral symbols that often appear similar to a Paisley pattern. The Boteh itself carries a rich history, often symbolizing things like a cypress tree representing life and eternity, or maybe a flame or even a teardrop. So imagine an entire rug filled with these elegant, repeating, almost undulating Paisley-like shapes. It's a classic, sophisticated visual element, yet rendered with that distinct tribal interpretation.
Then you have the Afshar Morgi, and this one is truly fascinating and, frankly, quite delightful. Morgi in Persian actually means chicken.
Chicken, really?
Yes. So these rugs are decorated by a repeating geometric motif resembling a chicken which covers the whole field. Our sources state that this is far and away the most original and interesting Afshar decoration. You really won't find this everywhere. It speaks volumes about the unique, sometimes wonderfully whimsical artistry of the tribe, sets them apart from other regional styles. It's a charming surprise to discover, isn't it? A tangible piece of their everyday life brought into their art. It poses a fun question. Did a weaver just look out, see their chickens, and think, yes, this belongs on my rug? It's a wonderful example of how even mundane elements can become art.
I love that. And the variations continue, don't they? There's the diamond AFSHAR, which, as the name suggests, prominently features diamond shapes. These designs specifically take motifs from those used for Shiraz and Gajkais, two other significant weaving traditions. So, borrowing again, typically you'll find 2 diamonds, or more rarely 1 or 3, often centrally placed or repeated in a structured way. But what's really striking is how the whole field is tightly packed with small designs which often reveal the floral influence of nearby Kerman. So you have these strong, bold geometric diamonds, but they're softened and surrounded by delicate floral elements. A beautiful interplay of contrasting styles, really showing their absorption of different artistic vocabularies.
Exactly. And this floral influence gets its own dedicated category with the floral Afshar. These particular specimens are specifically woven in villages near Kerman, meaning they are less nomadic and more settled in origin. The designs are directly inspired by the carpets from that town, Kerman, which is renowned for its highly sophisticated, often curvilinear floral designs. The decoration is, as you'd expect, floral, almost always in repeating motifs and rarely with a central medallion, end quote. These village Afshars kind of bridge the gap between pure tribal art and the more refined urban styles, showing a beautiful evolution and adaptation of their aesthetic in a settled environment, yet still retaining that distinct Afshar character.
It's quite a range. And beyond these main types, our sources also mention other notable designs, things like shrub compositions and occasionally the revered tree of life motif, which is always rich in symbolism, right? Representing growth, connection, immortality, that sort of thing. And interestingly, Kurdish influences are apparently evident in angular medallion format rugs, which speaks to their interactions with neighboring tribes again. We also see the general spontaneity encountered in several original flower and bird designs. This really underscores that blending influences point we made earlier. They weren't isolated. Their art was a dynamic reflection of their encounters and environment, absorbing and reinterpreting elements from their neighbors.
And the color palette of Afshar rugs is another defining characteristic that sets them apart. It's quite striking. They typically feature a rich, deep color palette, which gives them a distinct presence and warmth. The most commonly found ground colors are ivory and bright red, offering either a really striking, vibrant contrast or a warm, earthy base that immediately draws the eye.
But the colors aren't limited just to the background, are they? Within the designs themselves, you'll find light and dark blue and yellow, skillfully incorporated, adding layers of dimension and contrast. And if you're lucky enough to encounter an antique 19th century Afshar rug, imagine finding one of those. Our sources highlight that their tones are even more saturated, things like deep indigo, carnelian, saffron, and ochre tones predominating. Just picture those rich, earthy jewel tones bringing the patterns to life, almost glowing with age and natural beauty.
What's truly remarkable about these colors is their origin, and this is where the craftsmanship becomes particularly evident. The sources emphasize the pervasive use of natural dyes, specific examples like rich reds coming from madder root and the deep blues from indigo plants. Now, this isn't just about a color choice. It's about a profound connection to the natural world and generations of accumulated knowledge. You had to know how to get these colors. Natural dyes, unlike their synthetic counterparts, create a color that is alive. It has subtle variations in tone known as abrash, which adds immense character to a rug. They don't just sit on the wool, they penetrate it, resulting in that warm, earthy tone, reflecting the very landscapes that surround the tribe's territories, almost as if the earth itself has imparted its hues to the wool. This also contributes significantly to their longevity and ability to age gracefully without fading into harsh, artificial shades like some modern dyes might.
Even the borders of Afshar rugs tell a story. Our sources explain that they are limited in proportion to the whole carpet, which means they don't overwhelm the central design, they just frame it elegantly. They are described as classic borders with a central band and 2 flanking guards, a pretty common structure. But here's where we connect back to that historical thread again. The serrated leaf border is quite common in AFSHAR DEHAJ, and this specific motif demonstrates once again the northerly origin of the Afshar tribe. How cool is that?
It is.
It's just incredible how much information is packed into these visual elements. You can almost trace the tribe's movements and the evolution of their influences just by looking closely at the patterns and colors. It's truly like a visual diary, isn't it? A rich tapestry of history and artistry woven into every single thread.
Absolutely. And that meticulous attention to design is truly matched by exceptional craftsmanship, which is critical, of course, to their enduring value and appeal. The weaving skills of the Afshar are genuinely renowned, and our sources highlight their mastery of both the Persian asymmetrical and Turkish symmetrical knotting techniques. Now, this versatility is quite unique. It allows for distinct textures and levels of detail in their rugs. To put this in perspective, symmetrical or Turkish knots are like two small columns side by side, creating a very strong, dense, almost pixelated surface. This makes for a robust rug, perfect for those bold, clear, geometric designs we talked about.
Right.
Asymmetrical or Persian knots, on the other hand, are more like a single column. They allow for much finer detail, more fluid lines, curvilinear patterns, almost like painting with thread. The fact that Afshar weavers could employ both techniques means they possess incredibly sophisticated understanding of how to achieve different aesthetic goals, sometimes even within the same rug.
And the density of their knotting is equally impressive, right? It directly contributes to the rug's renowned durability and the fineness of their details. For rugs woven on nomadic ground looms, our sources tell us the knot density is typically between 40 to 105 Turkish knots per square inch. And for those Afshars knotted in villages on vertical looms, often using Persian knots, the density ranges between 40 and 100 knots per square inch. To put that in perspective, imagine a high-resolution image on a screen. The more pixels, the clearer the image.
Good analogy.
Similarly, this high knot density is why Afshars feel so substantial underfoot and can display such intricate detail without the patterns blurring or losing definition. It's a strong indicator of the time, the skill, or the quality poured into each piece.
It's also important to differentiate between the looms used, as this reflects their lifestyle and has implications for the rug's characteristics. Our sources specify that nomadic tribes traditionally used ground looms. These are essentially horizontal looms set up on the ground, typically with wool or cotton warps and wool wefts, with a single thread between the rows of knots. This type of loom is portable, suitable for a migratory existence, though it generally limits the maximum size of the rug you can make. In contrast, rugs knotted in villages were done on more stable vertical looms, where both the warp and weft are typically in cotton. This distinction speaks to the slight variations in production based on whether the weavers were settled or on the move, influencing the final texture and stability of the foundation.
And beyond the knotting itself, the materials speak to superior quality in construction. That's a key factor in their longevity. Afshar rugs are particularly known for using high-quality lanolin-rich wool. That lanolin, the natural wax in sheep's wool, is crucial, isn't it? It gives the rugs their distinctive sheen, that subtle luster that deepens with age and contributes significantly to their overall durability and even resistance to soiling. Our sources also note that hand-spun wool is used for both the pile and the foundation, which is a real hallmark of authenticity in traditional craftsmanship. Hand-spun wool has those subtle irregularities that machine-spun wool lacks, giving the rug more character, resilience, and a unique tactile quality.
Exactly. The weaving itself is consistently described as often tight and fine, resulting in a dense, durable rug that stands the test of time. This is not loose, flimsy work that quickly wears thin. These are solid, substantial pieces. And a distinctive characteristic to look for, a true signature of their tribal origins, are the flat-woven kilim ends, which often feature intricate, multicolored wefts. These aren't just decorative, they are a practical and beautiful way to finish the rug, preventing unraveling and adding another layer of traditional artistry. These details might seem small, but they are hallmarks of genuine Afshar craftsmanship and contribute significantly to their unique charm and longevity.
The sizes of Afshar rugs also directly reflect their nomadic lifestyle and the practicalities of their existence. It all ties together. Our sources indicate that generally, the most frequently encountered items are of dozar and zaraman size. Now, these aren't just arbitrary dimensions. Dozar literally translates to 2 zars, and zaraman means 1.5 zars. Where a zar is a traditional Persian unit of length, roughly equivalent to, 41 or 42 inches, something like that?
Around there, yes.
So these pieces typically measure about 8 by 5 or 6 feet and 6 by 4 feet, respectively. This makes perfect sense when you consider nomadic group wouldn't be hauling massive looms or cumbersome finished rugs around. Their scale was dictated by transport and the size of their temporary dwellings, like tents.
Consequently, few large items are made, which is entirely consistent with nomadic groups and their practical limitations. It's simply not feasible to weave massive carpets on a portable loom, nor transport them easily. Our sources note the rarity of larger room-sized pieces, but also mention the occasional finding of longer corridor carpets, maybe 5 feet by 10 feet, which would have been useful for larger tents or communal spaces. They also produce small mats and bag faces consistent with their nomadic tribal heritage. These smaller items, often designed for specific utilitarian purposes within a nomadic household like storage bags or small seating mats, further reinforced how the practicalities of a nomadic existence fundamentally shaped the output and common dimensions of their weaving, making each size tell a part of their story.
Okay, so now let's tie all of this rich history, artistry, and craftsmanship back to something Babak Rizwani specifically highlighted early on. The investment value of these rugs. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about owning a tangible, potentially appreciating asset. Our sources are quite direct on this point, stating that Afshars are exceptionally good buys. That's quite a claim.
It is.
And for the more discerning collector, the better, more finely knotted examples can almost be guaranteed to become collectible in the future. That's a powerful statement about their potential for appreciation, moving beyond mere utility into the realm of art investment.
Indeed. And while our sources caution that this is less true of poorer quality items, which makes sense, they firmly state that, nevertheless, all Afshars can be considered reasonably good investments. This is due to a confluence of crucial factors. First, their unique designs ensure they stand out in a crowded market. They're recognizable. Second, their proven durability, thanks to that high knot density and lanolin-rich wool, means they literally stand the test of time. They survive decades, sometimes centuries, in far better condition than perhaps more fragile urban weaves. This inherent resilience, almost mirroring the tribe's own history of survival, makes them rarer and more desirable as true antique pieces. Third, their intrinsic connection to traditional rug-making practices using hand-spun wool and natural dyes makes them authentic pieces of cultural heritage. The real deal. These qualities collectively make them highly sought after in the market, often maybe even undervalued compared to other more widely recognized Persian counterparts, which presents a unique opportunity for collectors,
Absolutely. And for those who appreciate history and rarity, the investment perspective grows even stronger. Our sources emphasize that antique Afshar rugs are considered valuable collector's items, reflecting the artistry and cultural heritage of the Afshar tribe. So, when you acquire an antique Afshar, you're not just buying a floor covering, you're acquiring a piece of art with a deep past, something that literally holds the narrative of an entire people. For new collectors maybe looking to discern value, it's about feeling the density of the weave, examining the clarity of the patterns, noting the subtle abrasion from natural dyes, and understanding the specific motifs like that unique Morgi chicken design. These factors, alongside good condition of course, are what elevate a rug from merely decorative to a truly collectible and potentially appreciating asset.
And importantly, this isn't just a historical artifact we're discussing, frozen in time. Our sources confirm that Afshar rug production continues in the regions of Kerman and Yazd, maintaining the traditional techniques and design motifs. This means it's a living, ongoing tradition, not something simply relegated to the past. Which raises an important question for us all, really. What truly constitutes value beyond just utility? With Afshar rugs, it's profoundly clear it's not just about covering a floor. It's about owning a piece of enduring artistry, a fragment of living history, and indeed a tangible asset that can appreciate significantly. Understanding the deep craftsmanship, the superior materials, and the compelling story woven into each piece profoundly changes how we perceive their worth, transforming them from mere objects into irreplaceable cultural treasures that enrich any space they inhabit.
So, we've journeyed through our sources today, haven't we? Starting with the deeply personal expertise of a family business that champions these magnificent pieces, then delving into the intricate history of the Afshar tribe, exploring their diverse and captivating designs, and finally appreciating the remarkable craftsmanship that defines Afshar rugs. We've seen how these rugs truly embody a unique blend of tribal, village, and nomadic styles, each not telling a part of their incredible, resilient story.
Exactly. And this deep dive reveals that the profound beauty of an Afshar rug lies not just in its striking geometric design and rich natural color palette, but also, and perhaps even more so, in its profound cultural significance. Each rug, in essence, carries the story of its creators, reflecting the tribe's history, their dynamic lifestyle, and their enduring artistic tradition through centuries of change and movement. It's a tangible link to a vibrant living past.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? What's the takeaway? Well, our sources put it beautifully. Quote, "Dough an Afshar rug is to possess a piece of this vibrant culture, bringing a touch of the nomadic Iranian lifestyle into your home. But more broadly, maybe it's about seeing the hidden artistry and incredible stories in the objects all around us, isn't it? It's about looking beyond the surface, beyond the immediate function, and appreciating the deep layers of human creativity, resilience, and history, things that often go unnoticed in our everyday lives. It encourages us, perhaps, to look at the world with a deeper, more curious eye."
I think so. This exploration of Afshar rugs beautifully illustrates how a deep dive into knowledge can transform a simple, maybe utilitarian object into a profound, multifaceted experience. Consider then what other everyday items around you, perhaps those you take for granted, whether it's the specific type of wood in your furniture, the pattern on a ceramic dish, or even the design of a simple tool. What might they reveal if you were to undertake your own deep dives into their origins, their making, or their cultural journey? What incredible, unexpected stories are waiting to be uncovered in your world right there in front of your eyes?
A wonderful thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Afshar rugs. Keep that curiosity burning and keep exploring the world's rich tapestry of knowledge.